let's have a look at the structure of a group interview. Now, in fact, before I jump into the structure of the group interview, let me just quickly talk on the why do a group interview piece. Right. So, the whole principle here of a group interview, if you think about it, not often, certainly I've not experienced a lot of it ever in my life, till I started teaching it and coaching on it, doing group interviews. Most traditional interview processes are done one-on-one, right? And the problem that I have with that is it very often that's not how people operate inside a business. They don't just sit there operating one-on-one. They have to work inside a team environment, a group of people with multiple customers, all this type of thing. Yet we go and interview them one-on-one and we don't get a true indication of how that person actually operates, how they interact with people. So for me, the purpose of the group interview is I want to be able to see what happens when a couple of things happen. One is when they actually are in and around other people. Two, when there's a little bit of competition happening, because now they now kind of know who they're competing against, if you like, for a role. They're right there in front of us. Three, it also, do you think it actually applies a little bit of pressure? 100% it does. It starts applying some pressure and it starts building up some perturbation. So chances are that most people in most roles in a business at some point, if they're growing and pushing, they will experience some level of perturbation. So I want to see how people react and how they deal with that, right? So this whole process is about, it's you could even say it's more about a deselection process than it is about a selection process, right? So it's to help us do that. So to frame this up, you do need a few people to help you here on a group interview. So firstly, you might be running it, and there might even be two of you running it, but there's got to be at least one person who's leading it. You definitely need another person in the room who is an observer. So very often when I run our group interviews, we do them around our great big round table called the donut. And I actually quite like, there's different thoughts on this, but I actually quite like where I'm leading it and they're looking at me. I will have the observer actually on the other side of the table. So everyone's looking at me, so the observer can quite easily be looking and really noting what people are doing, taking notes, without sort of worrying about people seeing them. You can also have the observer on your same side. There's no problem. My preference is I kind of like it having someone on the other side, so that they're free to really kind of take note of body language and tonality and all those things. But you definitely need an observer, because it's very hard when you're running it to pick up on everything that's going on. So you need at least two, if not three people in the room to help you with this. Okay. The other thing I'll say before I go through the structure is there'd be I'd say very few, in fact, probably no roles that I would be not wanting to do a group interview for. So if it's in the sales, front-end customer service role, I 100% love group interview for that. I think it's hugely powerful. But I'd still do a group interview for a finance accountancy role, for a GM role, for a CEO role. I see no problems in doing that in terms of your more senior management roles as well. I think they're hugely valuable. So let me take you through it. First things first, when they get invited to the group interview, they are not told that it is a group interview, right? So they're not saying you come into a group interview. It's literally come along, your interview time will be 3 p.m. on a Friday, whatever that is. We'll need you for 2 hours for the interview, right? And that's that. And along they come. As they come in, I generally like to corral them, in a reception area. And then when the interview time is due to open, the doors open to whichever boardroom you're doing it in, the office, and in walks all of the participants. I would have them write their own name tags. So get a piece of cardboard there with a pen. Please write your name on it, everybody. Put it in front of yourself so we can see who you are. It's also an interesting one to see what the handwriting is like as well, right? So that's that. Now, as we go through it, basically how it starts is you then do a welcome. Now, the welcome for me contains a couple of key parts. One is I want to give people permission to leave if they don't want to be there. So it'll be who's ever been to a group interview. If you are great. If you've never been to a group interview, there is no requirement for you to be here. So please, if you're in discomfort and you don't want to stay for the process, I'll fully give you permission to step aside. Rarely would we have people do that, but I did have an example of that just recently where someone left at that moment. I'm like, okay, great, cool, no problem. Some of the other context that I'd do here is I'll say things like, folks, you are in the room and you've made it into the room as part of the interview because of what was written in your resume and what we currently know about you. So please, this process is not about you regurgitating your resume to us. I've already got that. This is about me finding out about who you are, your behaviours, you finding out about us, and us actually working out if we're going to be a fit for each other. So I don't know if you've ever heard, had someone give you answer a question the way that they think you want to answer. I would say to them that will not serve you in this process. Please be authentic. Please be honest. We'll be the same back to you. And even by doing that bit of positioning, it helps cool people down a little bit, right? So welcome. This is what we're off to do. Here's the process that we're going to go through. And then this part here, which is I want to go and enroll them. So my job then is to go and talk about the company. And I want to enroll them into what we do, to talk about the culture of the business, what we provide, all the different reasons why EBS or the company that you're operating is an amazing company to go and work for. At the end of this enrollment piece, everybody should be sitting in the room going, oh my gosh, what an amazing business. I 100% want to come and be a part of this company, right? It's also too, this whole process is also very, very leveraged because I say it once and everybody gets to hear it at the same time. It's a great point to bring up at the start around why we're doing group interview. So your job is to go and enroll them into the business. So have that context laid out, know what you're going to say. You might put a video up, you might put something up on the screen. It's not a huge amount of time, but for me, that's kind of the first 5-8 minutes so that they get really clear on who the business is. Second part is then to go and do an overview of the role. So let me tell you about the role, right? So I'm quite specific at this point in terms of what the role entails, what the expectations of the role. I did skip over at the piece at the start, and that's that I will say to everybody, we will not be discussing remuneration during the group interview. That's all done in a one-on-one setting. So we're not going to be talking on remuneration. So I won't talk dollars in the role. I'll be talking on expectations of the role. Is there travel? Is there not travel? Is there, all the different pieces that go there. So that gives a nice level of clarity. Right? So up to this point, we've done all the talking. Now we get into the fun stuff. So now it's like we're going to go and do this thing called an elevator speech or an elevator pitch, however you want to do it. So what that'll sound like is, so folks, I'd love to hear about you. So you're going to have 90 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever your timing is. It's not a long time, but 90 seconds each to tell us, tell me, tell the room, what is it that we need to know about you? What do you want us to know about you? And again, we've got your resume, so don't give me 90 seconds regurgitation of your resume. We've already got that. And I will too, on this one, to help lift the perturbation, I won't just go around in order like that where people can get set. I'll go, all right, and let's start with you, Mary. Go for it. And away we go, right? Now, your observer, depending upon how strict you want to be on this one, and sometimes you have to be very strict on it if you've got quite a number of people. Like my largest group interview had 16 people in it. So you've got to be quite strict on the timing. is they might have a time piece here, and at the end go, okay, thank you, stop, no matter how far through they are, right? Even that gives you some context of, if let's say you gave someone 90 seconds, even that gives you context that some people won't be able to fill it. Like they won't be able to talk about themselves and who they are for that long. Other people won't be able to shut up, right? They'll just be so, all the high eyes of the world will just keep talking, right? Even that can frame you up in terms of what type of person you're looking. Part 4 is then CV specific questions. So now is when we're going specifically to individuals based upon their CV and what they've done. Now, the really important part here is your CV specific questions. You do want to have them prepared. So you do need to get a CV out, have a review of that. And my recommendation on these is that you make the CV specific questions situational based questions. Like, again, you ask a poor question, you'll get a poor response, right? And the one thing that we don't want are fluffy answers that you can't do anything with. So rather than say, so Bob, can you tell me how good are you at marketing, right? If it was a marketing role, and they go, yeah, look, I'm really good, and marketing is a key part of any business, and it's all this fluffy answer. A better way to ask it would be, so Bob, could you please give me at least one specific example where you have done a marketing strategy and you have taken people through a sales process to help them become customers. Please tell me the exact marketing strategy and what part you played in that and the results that you generated from it. Please be specific. Right, so you do want to have some specific. Situational is very often the best ones to do. You can do a deep dive on that. So depending upon their answer, say, tell me a bit more about it. Why did you go down that pathway? What was the outcome? Those type of things. So CV specific, have them pre-done. Number 5, next part, case study. Don't always do this one, but it's good to have it there. Depending upon the type of role that you're doing. So you might create a scenario for people and go, so if this situation was happening, how would you deal with it, right? That might be a case study that you provide to somebody. You might also, I've had here where, if I'm interviewing someone in a finance space, I don't give them a case study. I actually have a list of financial literacy questions. And it's like, great, can you please, answer these specific questions? So this is kind of the practical part of the process, that if you have any practical testing that you want to do, throw it in there. I actually did for a salesperson, I did this about 12 months ago, in terms of case study to see, put the rubber hits the road. I literally had a list of cold prospects that I was going to go and market to in this other business. And I gave it to them and said, rightio, for 10 minutes, I want to see you pick up the phone and make some cold calls. So there was 4 people in the group interview. They went to 4 parts of the room and I sat in the middle and went, bang, go and jump on the phone and do some live calling. They'd all told me they were great at it. It was part of the role. So we put them into a real life scenario. Oh my gosh, didn't that create some perturbation and give us some real life answers? And we found the ideal candidate out of the back of that process. So case study is a great one if there's certain skills. And then the last one here is, and you might be going, what's this about? Our founder, Bruce Bruiser, created this little game. So he loves it. I enjoy doing it. It's a game called the Pyramid Game. Now, the whole concept here is that, and please write this down, that games are often a reflection of true behaviour, right? Games are often a reflection of behaviour. So no matter what they say, if I go and put them into a game, they will generally play the game, and how they play the game is how they're going to do real life. Like if I wanted to see what someone's like at business, I could go and take them out on the golf course and have a look at what that looks like, and we'll see what that experience is. So we went off and Bruce created this thing called the pyramid game. So how it looks is we put some blank flip charts around the room. We partner people up into different groups, and here's the instruction. So folks, this is what it literally sounds like. So folks, who knows how they built the pyramids? And you'll get a few people give you some answers, and you'll get the odd crazy one who goes, oh, it was the aliens who did it and all this. But big picture, it's like no one's really that sure how they built the pyramids. We've got some theories on it, but we don't know. So the game that you're in is in your group. So you might have them in a partnership of 2, 3, 4, whatever. In your group, what you're going to do on your flip chart is I would like you to write out a specific set of instructions on how it is that you would go and build a pyramid. Now, the context is you're back in the age of when this was happening, so you've got normal resources at your disposal: elephants, logs, ropes, slaves, all of the kind of normal stuff. So I'd like a list, a set of instructions on how it is that you're going to go and build the pyramids. Build a pyramid. You've got 10 minutes to go and do it. Rightio, and your time starts now. And we kick off, put a bit of music on and let them go. Now, if you think about it, what we're looking for here, what I'm looking for is behavior. Now, 10 minutes goes very, very quickly. So there'll be a natural leader who will step in. So now you can suddenly start seeing who the leaders are. You'll see the people that want to stand back and don't participate, just stand back on the outer. You'll see the highly critical, high C thinkers who are like, analysing it and trying to make the writing perfect, all these type of things. So there's a lot of behaviours that play out. Now, by the way, do I really care, what they design? Not really. But it does demonstrate to me their level of speed and their level of, thinking in terms of writing a system. So you'll get them going. Now, the fun part in this game, this is the part that I love doing, at about 6 or 7 minutes into the 10 minutes, I will come into the game and say to them, walk up and say, rightio, hang on a second. Guys, is this what it is? Is this your best effort? And I'll go, there is 100% no way that I'm going to be able to build a pyramid off that. I'll grab it, rip it off and say, start again. You've got 3 more minutes. I want a better quality plan than that, right? And what it does is I'm doing it as the bad cop because I want to create some perturbation. I want to create pressure. I want to create an environment to see how do they react when that I go in there and tell them haven't done a good enough job. Right? Do I really care what they produce? No, but I'm just creating the environment, right? And I want to see the people that go, all right, let's step up and really hook in, or the other ones that go, you know what, I'm not interested in doing this. And it's like, well, there's my answer. This is how we're going to play the game when we're together, right? At the end of it, I'll do a bit of fun along the way. Come on, folks. 1 minute to go, 30 seconds to go. This is highly important that you win this game, blah, 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 right? And then, when the time's up, and we've completed. Now, off the back of that pyramid game in that 10 minutes, you will see a lot of different behaviours. So, highly valuable one to play, no matter what the position is, so that you can see what some of their behaviours are going to be like. So, folks, if you think about this now, what comes after the group interview is the one-on-one interviews. But if you think about this, it becomes very, very hard for people to hide their true behaviours in this type of environment. They come and sit in a room with you for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. They get exposed if of their true colours, right? Which is what you want. You want to truly know what they're like, and that you want them to truly know what we're like. So I'm a massive fan of group interview. If you've never run a group interview before, chances are, guess who else is going to have a bit of perturbation on them in the room? You will be while you're running it, but they're a game changer when it comes to finding good quality people. My experience says that at the end of the group interview, this happens nearly every time. When I'm finished and I let them know, here's the next steps, we will contact you, blah, 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 if you're successful. And if you're not successful, I generally say something like, does anyone have any final words that you would like to say? I would say if it's not 100, it's very close to it. Percent of the time, I will have at least one, if not all, people in the room say, this was the most amazing experience. I cannot wait, and I really hope I get an opportunity to have a one-on-one interview with the business. People love the process, and it sets them up for great success in the business. All right, so group interview, folks. Have fun with it. Please implement it. It makes a difference, helps you remove any of those terrorists that can slip through the whole process. All right, go enjoy it. Cheers.